How do you multiply a fraction with another fraction? So for this, let's figure out what it looks like to multiply two fractions together. So we have a over b multiplied by c over d. And again, if you haven't seen letters introduced in your math classes, that's okay. Just know that all these letters, what that means is it could just be random numbers. This could be a 1, this could be a 2, 1,000. It doesn't really matter. It's just random numbers, okay? The only thing to keep in mind, however, is that all these numbers are different, okay? Yeah, so this number won't be the same as that. C won't be the same as B or A or D. They're all different numbers, and the way that we note them is by using different letters to show those different numbers. Okay. Now, back to the question of how do you multiply these guys around? It's very simple. You just go like that. So it's A times C and what's B times D. So now you can just write this as A times C over B times D. All right. That's it. So let's show an example of this. So let's say I have 1/2 multiplied by 4 over 5. This means that I just go forward. So 1 times 4 is 4. And 2 times 5 is 10. And that's the answer, 4 over 10. Now a little pro tip here. What if I have something like this? A over B multiplied by C over A. Remember what I said earlier. These letters, when they're different, they represent a different number. However, you can see that this A and this A are the same. That means whatever this number may be, it'll be the same number over here. Now, let me show you a trick. So if we multiply this across, what do we get? We get A times C over B times A, because the bottom is also being multiplied across. Now we know that if I have the same number over the same number, if I have 2 over 2, that's equal to 1. Okay? Or if I have any number, 10 over 10, that's equal to 1. Any number which the numerator and denominator are the same will always equal 1. With that same idea, we can say that A over A is also equal to 1. Or B over B is also equal to 1. So if you have the same numerator and denominator, it'll always equal to 1. And now, if we look closely here, what do we see? What do we see here? We see that this guy, because these guys are being multiplied, A times C and B times A, it doesn't really matter the order. So I can actually write this as, I can write it like that. It doesn't matter how you write that, but for explanation, I will do it like this. And now what do we have here? We got A over A. Okay, so that means that just becomes a 1. So this becomes a 1. And that means this is equal to C over B. All right. Ultimately, what I'm trying to show is that when you have a situation where there are fractions that are diagonal to each other, which are the same number, so A and A, they're the same exact numbers, they can actually cancel out, and you're just left with C over B. Now, this is a pro tip. So if you don't want to look into this or worry about it, you don't need to, but I would, just because it's very nice to know. Let's just show an example of what that looks like. Let's say I have 5 over 10, and I multiply it by, let's say I multiply it by, well, it has to be over 5, because remember, I'm trying to say that this A's are the same, so 5 and 5 are the same. Okay, and let's make the numerator a 3. The point of this example is that I can go right from this step and just write 3 over 10 as the final answer, because I can see that these guys cancel out. But now, let's say you want me to show how that works, okay? Let's say I do 5 times 3, 10 times 5, okay? And now, I don't need to do it this way, but just to show you guys, I will. I'm just going to flip around the multiplication. 10 times 5 is the same as 5 times 10. Okay, and now we have this guy over here. Boom. Just turns into a 1. And now we can just say that's just 3 over 10. Which is essentially the same thing as getting rid of these guys and just writing 3 over 10, like I did earlier. If this doesn't make sense, not a big deal. There's definitely going to be times when we learn about how to multiply fractions with different numerators, different denominators, same numerator, same denominator, improper fraction, proper fractions, mixed numbers, all of that. So, but it's just something to keep in mind, because it does make problems much easier to do when you notice that these guys cancel out. And again, if this was a 10 here, this would also cancel out. Okay, but it's a 3 because it's a C and B. Okay.